Welcome to Technology Integration for PA Educators, Engaging with Technology, Part 2. In this module, we will cover technologies that you may have heard of before, or maybe they're even new to you. We will cover things like Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, and Google. After the completion of this module, learners will be able to create interactive activities for use in instruction using Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, and Google. For the remainder of this module, we're going to look at the ways that instructors can leverage technology to create interactive presentations and engage their students. One of the easiest ways to make your PowerPoints interactive is by adding in pop quizzes. This helps to keep your students at both sites engaged in class. This can be done in a few different ways using various technologies. The image on this slide is actually a class from our PA program. One of our instructors added slides into his PowerPoints that would randomly show up throughout his lecture. To ensure both sites were engaged, he called on students from both locations by name. This method is easy to include in your instruction because, odds are, you're very familiar with PowerPoint already. This would just mean creating additional slides and, of course, ensuring that you consider how much time this will consume in your lectures. Let's take a look at another way to create interactive presentations. For those of you who have never used or played Kahoot, I have included a video to give you a brief overview. Let's talk about the pros of Kahoot. So the first pro is that research has been completed on this technology. It has been shown that this is a technology that helps to support active learning and engagement in classes. The second is gamification or game-based learning. Game-based learning is great for kids and adults. It helps to keep learners actively participating in their learning. The third is that you can see how many people have joined the game. This is great because faculty can know if they're still waiting on students to join, how many students have actually joined, and who are actually engaging with this content. Kahoot is also really engaging and eye-catching. It keeps students participating with its fun music and fun colors. In Kahoot, you can also play individually or in team mode. And last but not least, it's easy to navigate for students and instructors. Technology can be overwhelming for learners and instructors, so having a technology that is easy to navigate is often why instructors decide to keep that technology in their courses. Kahoot also has cons. The first is that you can't integrate Kahoot into slides. So in order to use Kahoot, you have to toggle in between your slides and the Kahoot game, which can be time consuming and difficult for some. The second is that it uses up time to set things up. As the instructor, you have to ensure that students understand what is going on and if they're set up in Kahoot, and that takes time. The last is that students can get way too caught up in the competition. Oftentimes they lose sight of their active learning and what the content is on, and they're too busy focused on getting those points. Next, we're going to talk about Poll Everywhere and how to integrate that into courses. Poll Everywhere has some really great qualities. You're able to use it with Canvas, in your Google Slides, or even your PowerPoint slides. It can also be used for knowledge checks throughout class. Poll Everywhere also has some downsides. It's less user-friendly, it's much harder to set up, and it has a cap of participants unless you pay for the account. This is one great example of how you can use Poll Everywhere in your slides. I've created this range of faces to get a general feel for the answer to the question that I'm asking here. So, what are your feelings towards using technology in the classroom? If this were actually in my PowerPoint in a class with a room full of students, I would be able to ask this question, provide the students with a link to get onto here, and they could take that little blue triangle and they could place it wherever they're feeling to kind of gauge the attitudes toward technology within the classroom. Now, this is one of the things that Poll Everywhere can do. It can do many, many more things, and I encourage you to deep dive into Poll Everywhere after this module is complete. Now let's look at the way that Google can be used in the classroom. Google has some great abilities. Things instructors are familiar with, such as slides and docs, but also things like the Q&A feature in Google Forms. This next video clip is going to walk you through using the Q&A feature on Google Slides.
Hi there, Jamie Keed here tonight at Teachers Tech. Hope everyone's having a great night tonight. Tonight I want to just take a quick look at some of the new features in Google Slides, especially the new questions and answer that really increases that engagement with the audience. So very quickly how it works, and all I've done is loaded up a template from my Google account. And the one thing I'd want to mention here is that I'm in my Gmail account, and it is available in there, but in my education accounts and in my business accounts, I don't see this feature yet. So like if it's like the voice typing, it might take a little bit of time to roll out for all your accounts. So if you don't see it, that might be what would be happening there. So I'm just going to go right to it right here. So I've opened up my presentation here from the template. Just click on the little down arrow and you can see we have presenter view right here. So when I click on this, it will open up for me a new tab here, which I can start the new question and answer period. So what I'm going to do is just hit the start new down at the bottom here, and then what you can notice here is I'm given a URL right here. And you can see I can turn it off or on at any time. So if I go back over to my presentation now, you notice across the top they give this URL. So the audience is going to see this right here, and they're going to see this URL. So if they're sitting in the audience with their devices, whether it be their phones or their tablets or their computers, they can go to this, type in this URL, and they're going to be able to get to it to get to the question part, which I'll show you in a second here. So yeah, very quickly you can turn it on and off. So I can go back and you can see it takes it off, or if I go on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slide over to a new window, open up my phone and type this URL to show you what it looks like on the phone, because I'm going to guess this is what most people will be doing in the audience. So I've just got my phone open and I put in that URL, so I'm already at the page, and I'm just going to quickly type in a question. I'll just be, how long Will this take? Okay, just make it simple like that, and then you can see ask as anonymously, so which I can click right there, or ask as the person that I'm logged into. So I have a choice of how I want to submit it there. So I'm going to, since I'm logged in, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to hit submit. And then you can see the question pops up there. So then the audience can actually rate the question too by giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down to see what they're thinking about the question. So if I go back over to my presentation tools, you can see that the question is there too. So and what I like now is you can actually bring these questions up to the audience. So if you notice, this is what they're seeing right now. But if I hit the present tool like this, and then I go back to my slide, the question will be on there. So if you want to bring that question right into the presentation, just click that so you have that power when you're presenting it, and you can go back to hide and it's there. So very simple to use. I think it's going to increase your engagement, as I said before, with your students or business partners, or it just gets that audience interacting in the presentation, keeping them a little bit more alert in it, I think, too. So the last tool I just want to show that a little bit that they just added on to, that I was just playing on a little earlier. They have kind of a cool little laser pointer here, so you can see if you select that, move it around, you can kind of bring the attention using the laser pointer there. That I thought was kind of cool there. So I hope you like this little presentation today on some of the new features of Google Slides. If you have, please share it with some friends, give it a thumbs up, and remember, I do these weekly tech tips every week, so if you like it, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.